We are reaching you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. I am Tessie Umeri. First, the headlines. President Tinubu confers national honors on Super Falcons of Nigeria for winning Women's African Championship for a record 10th time.
There is a cash award of the Naira equivalent of 100,000 US dollars each.
Nigeria initiates construction of first ever South-South Technology Transfer Center for Africa. Bureau of Public Procurement kickstarts implementation of Nigeria First policy.
The whole idea is to bring back industrialization in this country.
Thousands of inmates across Nigeria to benefit from a new energy partnership that seeks to electrify correctional facilities.
Bringing light to them is like bringing life.
As we still bask in the euphoria of the wins of the Super Falcons, we begin on a cheery note. The Super Falcons of Nigeria have been celebrated with a presidential reception for winning the Women's African Championship for a record 10th time in Morocco. President Bola Tinubu and First Lady Oluremi led the grand reception for the African champions at the State House. State House correspondent Musbao Dan Wahab has more.
The African champions arrived into the waiting hands of First Lady Oluremi.
Congratulations. Here, we can't carry this hand. Let me see.
It was a moment she longed for, following the incredible performance of the Nigerian ladies at the 2024 Women's Africa Cup of Nations in Morocco. And the proud mother of the nation presented the victorious ladies to the president.
Your triumph at the 2024 Women African Cup of Nations in Morocco was not just a win, but a testament of resilience, teamwork, and determination. You played with passion, confidence, and an unshakable belief in yourselves that it is not over until it is over. The zeal you displayed on the pitch was nothing short of inspirational. I say to you all, well done.
Like other Nigerians, the president narrated his anxious experience during the final encounter.
Honestly, I didn't want to watch the match. I didn't want high blood pressure. But our people came in and turned my TV on to that channel. When it was 2-0, I got very offended and restless. But I was there still watching. The indomitable spirit of resilience, determination, and courage.
President Tinubu commended the resilient spirit of the ladies, upturning a looming defeat in the first half, which later led to victory for the country.
Your victory represents more than the sport accomplishment. It is a triumph of courage, determination, discipline, and consistency. You made us very, very proud.
For doing the nation proud, the president conferred national honor of OON on each of the players and the technical crew of the team among other rewards.
In addition, there is a cash award of the Naira equivalent of $100,000 each. For the 24 players.
This is indeed a momentous moment for the Super Falcons of Nigeria. We have won this title now for the 10th time. This is the first time that a presidential reception will be hosted for the girls by the president in a state house, and with a heart full of gratitude and appreciation for what these girls have done in Morocco.
We see how the youth of this country are courageous. This is a golden feeling for all the Nigerian youth. And this is a message that whatever we know how to do best, we should just keep on doing it. We should put our commitment, we should put our courage.
From the State House, Muspa, then Wahab, NTA News.
What a proud moment for all of us. Once again, we say congratulations. If I'm thinking of switching profession, I don't know. Nigeria has initiated the signing of a Memorandum of Understanding MOU with Delba Group and Campo Group, as the Organization of Southern Cooperation has chosen Nigeria as the site to build its first ever South-South Technology Transfer Center for Africa. Vice President Kashim Shettima disclosed this during a meeting with the consortium on the sidelines of the ongoing United Nations Food Systems Summit in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. State House correspondent Abdurrahman Jibrila has more.
Vice President Kashim Shettima is optimistic that Nigeria can plant 20 billion trees if Ethiopia, a hilly country made up of highlands and mountains, can succeed in planting 46 billion trees. Reiterating Nigeria's commitment to the Green Revolution initiative, the Vice President described President Bola Tinubu as a transformational leader committed in redefining the meaning and concept of leadership in Africa.
We hope to plant 10 billion trees. We'll completely mobilize the entire national architecture. Yeah. We might fall short of that ambition, so be it.
Yeah, exactly.
But we have to aim at the sky. Yeah. And we have been led far behind. We ought not to be where we are now, honestly.
Now's the time to take advantage.
Honestly, we ought not to be where we are. And the president is determined to change the narrative. And we'll support him in whatever way we can for his administration to actualize our dreams.
Meanwhile, the Organization of Southern Cooperation has sought the support of the Nigerian government to establish the South-South Technology Transfer Centers designed to facilitate exchange of technology among its member states. Vice President Shettima urged the OSC to look inward and come up with solutions to address the developmental challenges among its member states, noting that the South constitutes more than 70% of the global population.
The President has initiated a lot of bold reforms in the education sector, the student loans facility, that is making education possible for indigent students from poor homes. We are investing massively in our educational institutions, but most importantly, we can partner with you. Whoever that brought up with the idea of OSC deserves a Nobel Prize for Peace, because that will advance the cause of global amity, global peace and stability.
The Secretary General added that one of the key projects the organization plans to execute in the next 3 years is the establishment of the South-South Technology Transfer Centers. Abraham Jibrila, NTA News.
Many thanks, Abdurrahman. Now let's shift attention to the environment. And we're joining correspondent Bilkisu Abubakar in Yola for an update on the flood situation in that area. Hello, Bilkisu. Thank you for joining us on the news at 10.
Thank you, Terry. It's good to hear from you. Right now, we are at the Shagari Sabon Pegin, who are here in Yola South, where is the area that is mostly hit by the flood in Adamawa State, where people have been displaced and there is serious destruction. The flood has seriously caused havoc to the residents here in Shagari community. If the cameraman can tilt us a little bit, you can see that the level of damages that have the flood has caused to some people here in Shagari. The walls and their properties, they are all out, while the environmental actors are working for now, especially the National Emergency Management Agency, the Adamawa State government, and all other environmental actors who are up and doing as regards to the problems of flooding in Adamawa. From what we have learned from the authorities concerned is that the flood is caused by the building on waterways and blockages of drainages, of which just yesterday the Adamawa State Governor Ahmad Umar Fintri has visited the affected areas in Yola South, where he said a technical committee will be set up so that to work together with the National Emergency Management Agency to see the level of damages that the cause has flood. And the report from the situation room of the National Emergency Management Agency indicates that the flood has claimed about 25 lives, while about 11 people are now missing, of which they are doing thorough investigation to see that they have recovered the number of people that are missing in the flood. To have an update on the issue of flood in Adamawa State, especially in Yola South local government area, with me is the head of operations, Yola office of the National Emergency Management Agency, in person of Ayuba. Sir, how far so far? Can you give us on the update of the latest update as regards to the flood in Yola South local government area of Adamawa State?
You can see that the water is receding, and people are preparing to come back to their houses, and that is the arrangement of the state government. And as you look at this situation, when we received this distress call, that is on Sunday morning around 3 a.m., that there was serious flood in Yola town. So we mobilize our stakeholders, we mobilize key agencies, that is relevant agencies that we work together with, especially the fire service, road safety, civil defense, the police, and this road safety. Then, in that process, we now realize that the situation is overwhelming. So we have to activate our disaster response unit. And that was when you see that the military were here. And what the role they played here is a very significant one. And we are grateful that at least we have that working synergy.
Okay. What is aside from the number of people that they training, because we have learned that 25 people, the flood has claimed the lives of 25 people, and what is the level of damages, destructions of farmlands and the houses and other valuables? Have you been able to ascertain the damages so far?
So far, we cannot ascertain the number of houses, properties, and farmland that have been damaged. However, NEMA, in collaboration with the State Emergency Management Agency and some critical stakeholders, by this afternoon, we are starting a holistic assessment of all the communities that have been affected. So in that case, maybe by tomorrow or next day is when we can be able to say, okay, this is the number of houses that were destroyed. But hundreds of houses are destroyed, and you can see all this farmland. They are all underwater.
13 communities were affected in Yola South, and there is a displacement that resulted the Adamawa State government to establish a camp here in Yola. What about the relief materials, and what efforts have you been able to put in place to provide relief materials to provide succor to the victims?
When this incident happened, NEMA, being the coordinating agency, we were able to meet with the government of Adamawa State and our key stakeholders on where these people will be, at least we'll put them. And at the end of the day, we realized that there is a better place, that is Mustafa Aliu Secondary School. That is where we are able to at least set aside as our IDP camp. So in that camp, at least there must be food. We have to provide all the necessary things they need, like food, the shelter, all what to make life at least comfortable for them. So NEMA as an agency has done its own part now, but still we are still giving more relief materials.
Thank you very much. This was the head of operations of the NEMA or head office here in Yola. Back to our studios. Terry, over to you.
Thank you so much, Bilkisu, for the update. You're watching the news at 10 on NTA News 24. We now take a break. When we return, we have more reports. Do stay with us.
The Sir Ahmadu Bello Memorial Foundation announces a landmark two-day government citizen engagement session holding on the 29th and 30th of July 2025 in Kaduna. With President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, 2 years into office, it's time to reflect. How far have we come on the promises made? This is your chance to engage directly with our government, to get your questions answered, understand policies, and make our voices count. This event will foster dialogue between federal government representatives and citizens, focusing on key sectors like national security, agriculture, infrastructure, social services, governance and economy. It aims to bridge the gap between policy and public perception, dispel misinformation, and promote accountable governance. Join stakeholders, civil society, and fellow citizens in shaping the future of northern Nigeria and the nation at large. The foundation remains committed to advancing good governance and socio-economic development in Nigeria. Don't miss this historic opportunity, 29th and 30th July 2025 in Kaduna. Be informed, be involved, be the change. This announcement is for your information. Attendance is strictly by invitation. Announcer, Engineer Dr. Abubakar Gambo Umar, Director General, Sir Ahmadu Bello Memorial Foundation.
Thank you for staying tuned. Nigeria is moving from food sufficiency to food sovereignty as policies towards food security are being implemented. Vice President Kashim Shettima stated this at the ongoing United Nations Food Systems Summit in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. Benny Adams has more.
Nigeria's vice president and leader of the Nigerian delegation to the second United Nations Food Systems Summit stocktake in Addis Ababa, Senator Kashim Shettima has joined global leaders in sharing experiences of impact and the need to scale up finance and investment towards attaining a sustainable food system.
Since 2021, when we unveiled our National Food Systems Transformation Pathway, Nigeria has journeyed with a clear compass. We have pursued institutional reforms with vigor. We have rolled out targeted investments in infrastructure and human capacity. We have deepened partnerships across sectors and prioritize agro-industrialization as a key driver of inclusive growth.
For Nigeria, advancing the transformation of the coffee value chain, in addition to consolidating on commitments towards building resilient, inclusive, and sustainable food systems, is key.
Administration of Bola Ahmed Tinubu has invested in agriculture much more than any other administration in its first 2 years of its life. We could see the mechanization, we could see input support. We have been able to do that and achieve that, and that's why we have a lot of production, good harvest in 2024, that has stabilized prices and has kept prices to a considerable level, even though President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is concerned about the affordability index of food as it is today. But we are on the same trajectory to achieving food security and on to food sovereignty.
In line with Nigeria's domestic priorities, the Nigerian delegation is leveraging international partnerships to advance a private sector-led model through evidence-based solutions.
With the conversation ongoing here in the next 2 days with Vice President Kashim Shettima leading the Nigerian delegation, the vision here is clear. Government, the private sector, as well as development partners must aggregate finances and investment worth over $400 billion annually to ensure a high-performing food systems globally. From the UN building in Addis Ababa, Benny Adams, NTA News.
Many thanks, Benny. The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission has arrested 7 Chinese nationals and 4 Nigerians suspected to be illegal miners without requisite licenses. They were arrested at Asu community, Eastern Obolo local government area of Akwa Ibom State. The suspects are allegedly operating 2 illegal mining sites at Eastern Obolo local government area, where they were arrested while setting up mining equipment at a second location. They were already engaged in alleged illegal mining activities at their first location, where they were mining ilmenite, locally called black sand. The suspects will be charged to court upon conclusion of investigation. Now, while greater number of people in the south region of the country are pleased with the rains as it ushers in a refreshing and cool environment, others are seriously looking forward to its end. This is the case in Bayelsa State and some parts of Yenagoa metropolis in particular, as the 2 days intense rainfall has not only left them with flash flooding, but sorrow, as they are now calling on relevant agencies to revisit the master plan of the city to ensure that unapproved houses and structures are pulled down to open blocked drains and canals. Samuel Numenegi reports.
It was unfortunate after days of no rainfall when a light downpour suddenly turned heavy and lasted almost throughout the day. This induced flash flood in some streets in the Yenagoa metropolis where houses that were never filled with water experienced it for the first time.
My neighbor called me that I should come, there is water in your compound, in the house. So I have to rush down. So I take a drop, came to the house. There was no way to enter my house. The parlor filled up, kitchen, bedroom, room, everywhere water, even the veranda. I've been bailing water up till now.
This compound now, when water rain fall, water they come out. But today, maybe as they block that front, now make it. As rain they fall, I said the water they float the enter. They float the enter inside the house. Float now, mob. Pack and now we pack water.
Environmental experts say a task force is in place to locate such places and structures built on canals and drains to seek solutions to the issue.
Except we have major drainage culverts like this to take water away immediately the rain falls, knowing our peculiar situation.
Residents are however appealing to relevant agencies to do the needful urgently in order not to be forced out of their houses, as some are already relocating to higher grounds. In Yenagoa, Samuel Numonengi, NTA News.
Director General Bureau of Public Procurement Adebowale Adedokun says Nigeria will now apply sanctions to ministries, departments and agencies that do not prioritize local products over foreign goods in their procurement processes under the renewed Hope Nigeria First policy. This was disclosed during the signing of a memorandum of understanding between the BPP and the National Agency for Science and Engineering Infrastructure to kickstart the policy implementation. Ekene Ndului has more.
In May 2025, the Federal Executive Council approved the Nigeria First policy, placing local content at the heart of government spending. The Bureau of Public Procurement, the agency responsible for enforcing procurement regulations across ministries, departments, and agencies, is now set to lead the implementation. A newly signed Memorandum of Understanding between the DPP and the National Agency for Science and Engineering Infrastructure, NASENI, marks the formal commencement of this policy. Under the agreement, innovations developed by NASENI will be prioritized in procurement plans nationwide.
The whole idea is to reduce poverty. The whole idea is to bring back industrialization in this country. You recall that a lot of industries have gone moribund over the years. With this policy, it's an incentive.
So far, we have over 40 market-ready products at NASENI, and we can't wait to get them in the hands of Nigerians.
As implementation begins, federal government is calling on all MDAs to comply with the directive and embrace homegrown innovations as a cornerstone of national development. In Abuja, Ekene Ndulwe, NTA News.
The Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority, NTAA, has directed local and international airlines operating in Nigeria to comply with the first need compensation regulation for short-landed baggage. NTAA, in a statement, says according to Part 19 of the Civil Aviation Regulation 2023, passengers are entitled to 10,000 naira for domestic flight and $170 for international flights. The NCAA Director of Public Affairs and Consumer Protection, Michael Achmugu, emphasized that airlines must comply with the regulation and pay the first need compensation to affected passengers. He warned that non-compliant airlines will face sanctions. He further stated that passengers may also be eligible for additional claims if their baggage is delayed for an extended period, provided they have receipts for items purchased due to the inconvenience. The NCAA encourages airlines to operate at world-class standards and respect passenger rights. Time now for another break. More reports when we return. To stay.
It's refreshing and impacting. Are you interested in contributing to the Nigerian project? Are you keen on adding your voice to the making of the Nigeria of our dream? Are you willing to be part of the new tribe of Nigeria that are sold on doing the right thing always? Then join the conversation every Saturday by 5 p.m. on Impact Nigeria on NTA News24. It's a live interactive discussion program that focuses on values, reorientation, and nation building. Join our team of passionate Nigerians as they dissect key ethical issues that impact Nigeria and Nigerians. Be part of our program live and via our social media platforms. Saturdays, 5 p.m. and repeat broadcast Sundays, 1:03 p.m. Impact Nigeria, coming soon on NTA News24. Join us.
Welcome back. Hope just got brighter literally for tens of thousands of inmates across Nigeria. A new energy partnership is lighting the path to reformation and rehabilitation, starting right from the heart of the nation's correctional system. Victor Azu was at the MOU signing and now reports.
It is much more than lights and solar panels. It is about second chances. The managing director of the Rural Electrification Agency arrives. Shortly after, Controller General of Corrections, Sylvester Nwakuche, enters the venue to a warm embrace, bearing the hopes of more than 80,000 inmates across Nigeria. Their mission to seal a partnership that brings clean, stable power to Nigeria's correctional centers, starting with the headquarters in Abuja. But this MOU didn't emerge in isolation. It follows an earlier meeting where the Controller General personally appealed to the REA for support, highlighting the urgent need to power learning, skills training, and essential services across custodial facilities. Today, that appeal becomes action. For inmates across the country, this partnership means more than electricity. It means light for classrooms, power for workshops, and energy for hope. CGC Sylvester Nwakuche calls it a turning point for what he describes as his sons and daughters in incarceration.
Bringing light to them is like bringing life. It turns almost everything around. Their vocational training, their educational training will be revolutionized. And when there is light in a facility, the issue of rehabilitation is faster.
And when asked how soon the journey begins, the REA boss confirms the correctional service is already captured in the agency's next deployment phase.
The next round of deployment of mini-grid, the correctional services will be included.
A conversation that began across the table has now sparked a national commitment. And when light returns to forgotten places, possibilities follow. In Abuja, Victor Azu, NTA News.
Professionalism and discipline remain the core values in the Nigerian police force in carrying out the internal security mandate. Inspector General of Police Kayode Egbetokun reaffirms this while decorating 12 newly promoted Assistant Inspectors General of Police and 16 Commissioners of Police at the force headquarters, Abuja. Francis Form has more.
By your conduct, your decisions, and the standards you demand of those under your command.
Addressing the gathering, the IGP stresses that the promotions are not just arbitrary, but the outcome of consistent dedication, integrity, and demonstration of leadership capacity. He emphasizes that the process reflects a new era of fairness and transparency in the force's internal systems. The police chief calls on the newly decorated officers to see their new ranks not just as a recognition, but as a new responsibility.
The success of modern policing rests not only on operational effectiveness, but on public trust. That trust is earned when the police are seen as approachable, responsive, and respectful. Let your presence inspire confidence. Let your commands be heavens of security. Let your leadership be felt, not in fear, but in reassurance.
The IGP charges the newly promoted officers to rise to the occasion and help build a police force that is modern, people-focused, and globally respected. Francis from NTA News.
The National Directorate of Employment, NDE, has launched an application portal for the second phase of the Renewed Hope Employment Initiative. NDE Director General Silas Agara says application is strictly online and wants applicants not to pay any money to scammers to be captured. Joseph Otsen has more.
In less than an hour after launching of the Renew Hope Employment Initiative portal, not less than 14,000 applications were registered. You can only imagine the number of applications that will be uploaded at the end of the 2 weeks given by NDE for registration. However, only 27,000 eligible applications will be considered for training, out of which 16,000 of them will be empowered with starter packs or loan facilities to establish businesses.
You must register with your NIM. Again, apart from the NIM, you must be a resident of the place of your residence is what matters, not state of origin. Whatever we are doing here in the headquarters, appropriate authority at the state offices will see online what we are doing here in the headquarters. And so there's no room for maneuvers.
The federal government employment opportunity is meant only for the unskilled and unemployed aged between 18 and 45 years. They will undergo at least 3 months of training in about 30 different skill sets of interest across the country.
In all over the state of the Federation, we are having more than 800 skill centers that are well standardized for this second phase.
More than 32,000 benefited from the first phase of the employment initiative and are already captured in the portal, therefore not eligible for the second phase. In Abuja, Joseph Utsen, NTA News.
And on education, in a bold move to convert brain drain into brain gain, the federal government, through the Federal Ministry of Education, has unveiled the Diaspora Bridge platform. The initiative is aimed at reconnecting Nigerian professionals in the diaspora with home-based academic and research institutions to foster innovation, collaboration, and national development. Correspondent Ibrahim Hamidu reports from the State House Banquet Hall in Abuja, where the launch brought together key stakeholders from the education, science, technology, and diaspora communities.
The platform, accessible via www.diasporabridge.ng, professionals can register, verify their credentials, and explore opportunities for collaboration with universities, research centers, and policy think tanks across Nigeria. It also integrates virtual learning tools, knowledge exchange forums, and connects with the tertiary education research application system for performance tracking and institutional reporting. According to the Ministry of Education, the platform is a response to the urgent need to address skills gaps in critical sectors, especially in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. It also aligns with Nigeria's broader national development goals under the Renewed Hope Agenda, with a focus on human capital development and global competitiveness.
Through integration with TED-Fonterra's platform, Bridge ensures transparency, continuity, efficiency, and full accountability in our various engagement processes.
From the vantage point of the Federal Ministry of Innovation, Science and Technology, I can assure you that this program aligns perfectly with our drive to commercialize research.
Beyond that, the bridge is a structure that makes it easier to give back.
The UK really wishes to stand shoulder to shoulder with Nigeria. We are aware in the UK just how many talented, dedicated Nigerians they are.
Stakeholders believe Diaspora Bridge has the potential to rebuild Nigeria's academic strength, stimulate innovation, and position the country as a knowledge hub on the African continent, provided it is sustained, properly funded, and actively embraced by both local institutions and diaspora professionals. In Abuja, I'm Ibrahim Hamidu, NTA News.
It is good news from Gombe State as more children of the less privileged take advantage of the ongoing rejuvenation in tertiary education across the country. This is as the Education Loan Fund, NEL Fund, redefines access to tertiary education, easing the burden of tuition fees and helping to curb school dropouts.
Launched in 2024, NEL Fund offers interest-free loans to students in tertiary institutions, removing financial barriers to education. With more students applying and institutions adapting to the system, the impact of NEL Fund in Gombe State grows like never before.
Out of about 15,000 students who are resident undergraduate students, about 7,000 have, availed themselves, they have applied. And so far, over 6,000 students have been considered.
The NEL Fund program has been very, very supportive. And we hope the state governments will also emulate what the federal government is doing to support their own candidates.
I call actually the government to ensure that the payment should be as soon as possible.
I think apart from lateness and then inconsistency, there's no other problem.
Not because of this NEL Fund, so many students would have dropped out.
For now, students in Kwambi are discovering something powerful. When access meets ambition, anything is possible. The challenge now lies with the institutions to step up, submit the data, and help unlock the features waiting to be written.
For many Nigerians, Fund is more than a financial aid, but a renewed hope for generations yet unborn. Zara Umar Adam, NTA News.
Many thanks, Zara. Both public and private primary and secondary schools across the country are at the peak of closing the third term of the 2024-2025 academic session. While some states have commenced the long school holiday, in other states the vacation is just around the corner. Yemisi Ajagun and this report examines the various choices parents and guardians are making beyond the academic setting to ensure meaningful engagement of their children and wards.
Provisions across the country for the long holiday, parents alike are not left out, with many having the fear of how to keep their children engaged, safe and positively occupied while they are away from the structured school routine. Question now is, how best can these children be rightfully engaged during the long vacation?
During the holiday, children can travel, they can learn a craft, because it is also good for them, to learn a skill, learn a craft. They shouldn't just be left alone or left at home.
You can arrange for home lesson, or you take them to a center that you are sure they will be doing fine there.
It's do something that they are doing differently in the school, and if possible, maybe to travel within the country, within the state.
Whichever path parents choose, it is believed that the most important thing is to ensure that the children are safe, supervised, and positively engaged. In Ibadan, Yemisi Ajagun, NTA News.
NTA TV Enterprises, in collaboration with Stanbic IBTC Bank in Abuja, has organized a financial fitness training for NTA staff nationwide. Thomas Ogbetere reports that the training is to broaden their horizon on financial literacy and improve the well-being of every staff.
Good debt management, wise investment, and constant savings were identified as key to achieving financial freedom. Staff members like Bention emphasized that the training has reset his financial mentality.
We do a partnership with them, as they say, so that they can re-engineer my life in financial investment.
The management of the Nigerian Television Authority wants workers to come out of their comfort zone and embrace new financial trends.
The tools and knowledge you acquire here today are not meant to improve your financial well-being, but also to empower you to make informed, sustainable life decisions, benefiting not only yourself, but your families and the institution at large.
The MD of NTA TV Enterprises and representative of Stanbic IBTC entreated staff to take advantage of the partnership to secure their financial future.
An empowered and financially literate workforce is a more productive, focused, and fulfilled one. It is our goal today to provide NTA staff with practical tools and insight that will help them make informed financial decisions.
If you want to achieve financial freedom, there are certain behaviors that will drag you down. So I want us all in the room to have that consciousness that this financial mental training is to be able to change our behavior. Until you get to that point where you want to change your behavior, you may never achieve that which you want to achieve.
With this training, Ben is ready to spread the good tidings to his co-workers and everyone around him. In Abuja, Thomas Ogbetere, NTA News.
For people-oriented development projects in Gombe State, the state and local government areas work in collaboration under what they call the Joint Development Project Council. Emmanuel Akila reports that during the 6th meeting of the council, decisions on key community development projects were reached.
On what the local government areas decide, during the 6th council meeting, approval is given for the upgrade of Kantoma Market in Billiri, additional works at Nalda Market in Imoltodeba, For the people of Tumfre community in Akko local government area who are enjoying roads network for the first time since the creation of Gombe State, it is lighting up of the newly constructed roads under the initiative with solar powered street lights.
If the street light is here, that's a security.
When this road is constructed, we have a nice place, nice environment. Everything is now moving fine.
I used to close very early because the place is dark. But once this street light is here, everywhere will be cleared. And once it's night, anywhere there is street light, it used to add beauty to that area.
Installation of solar street light at Birimpulani, Birimbolawa, Barwowinde, Barwonasarawo, Jigawana, Kada, and Buduku.
Any local government that is interested in the power generation will be able to sign up specific agreements for the benefit of power generation.
The Joint Development Project Council meet periodically to review the success of previous projects and for the local government areas to present the next aspects of development as suggested by the people. In Gombe, Emmanuel Akila, NTA News.
President Bola Ahmed Tinubu says his administration remains resolute in its commitment to improving the lives of Nigerians through infrastructure development, economic growth and investment in human capital. The president's message was conveyed at a Citizens Government Engagement Forum held in Kafin Hausa, Jigawa State. Muhammad Musa Askira has more.
Tinubu has restated his administration's determination to build a stronger and more prosperous Nigeria by focusing on critical infrastructure, economic reforms, and human capital development. The message was delivered on his behalf by the governor of Jigawa State, Malam Umar Namadi, during a citizen government engagement meeting in Kafin Hausa, the governor's hometown. The meeting brought together political stakeholders, including the senator representing Jigawa Northeast, 3 members of the House of Representatives, members of the Jigawa State House of Assembly, as well as other elected officials and political appointees. Governor Namadi used the opportunity to highlight major developmental strides recorded under both the federal and the state governments, spanning sectors such as education, healthcare, agriculture, infrastructure, and youth empowerment. In a symbolic moment, community elders presented a written document containing the development aspirations of the people in the area. Governor Namadi commended the initiative and assured the community that their inputs will be factored into future state fiscal budgets.
We are here to confirm to the people of Kafin Hausa that the government of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and also the government of Jigawa State will continue to work hand in hand to ensure that we have helped the people, we have reduced poverty, we have reduced unemployment, and we have improved the living standard of the people of Jigawa State.
The governor was received by an unprecedented crowd, the largest since the commencement of the Citizens Government Engagement Program in the state. Stakeholders attributed the massive turnout to the growing popularity of the governing party, driven by pro-people policies and good governance at both federal and the state levels. From Dutse, Muhammad Musa Askira, NTA News.
This is the news at 10 on NTA News 24. Here is a recap of our top stories. We told you that President Tinubu conferred national honors on Super Falcons of Nigeria for winning Women's African Championship for a record 10th time.
There is a cash award of the Naira equivalent of $100,000 each.
We also reported that Nigeria initiated construction of first ever South-South Technology Transfer Center for Africa. And Bureau of Public Procurement kickstarts implementation of Nigeria First policy.
The whole idea is to bring back industrialization in this country.
And we also reported that thousands of inmates across Nigeria are to benefit from a new energy partnership that seeks to electrify correctional facilities.
Bringing light to them is like bringing life.
Thank you for staying tuned. At the United Kingdom's Jalsa Salana 2025 convention of the Ahmadiyya Muslim community, women's rights took center stage as the community's spiritual leader, Hazrat Amza, addressed thousands of female delegates, reaffirming that Islam doesn't limit women but elevates them with motivation for young girls to dream big and work hard. Tokwe Alabi has more.
Islam emphasizes individual responsibility for one's actions and encourages both men and women to fulfill their duties and obligations as it grants women numerous rights, including legal, spiritual standing, and the pursuit of knowledge recognized as equal to men. Addressing thousands of female delegates at this year's Jalsa Salana, Ahmadiyya's worldwide head and spiritual leader, Hazrat Mirza Masroor Ahmed, noted Islamic teachings emphasize women's dignity, respect, protection, and participation in the society. He urged governments to create frameworks that will enable women play a central role in societal development by empowering and liberating them economically to take a central and more impactful role in the society.
The husbands can only be good if they are good to their family, to their wives, otherwise they can be good outside their families. Whereas Islam says, وَعَاشِرُوهُنَّ بِالْمَعْرُوفِ, that live with them in peace and harmony.
For many of the delegates, his words were uplifting and deeply personal, and as great contributors of success, with education highlighted as a key driver in elevating women's status.
As we go about the world in our business, we are judged on our abilities rather than our appearances, and that becomes our focus, and it's a means of protection.
Sometimes people will tell you that you have to do something because it's in Islam or because it's in your religion. When you look into it further, you'll find that it's not in Islam. It's actually a part of a cultural belief or a societal belief.
The rise for gender-based violence is quite prominent among the society, and it is important that we educate one another, and we should also be able to recognize our own rights.
With rising concerns over violation of women's rights, the convention is calling for renewed kindness and compassion, stressing the protection of women's rights is a spiritual duty. From Alton, Hampshire, United Kingdom, Tokwe Alabi, NTA News.
United States suspends visa processing at embassy in Niamey and Niger. Details with Oyeyemi Ajayi.
The United States is suspending all routine visa services at its embassy in Niamey, Niger, until further notice. A State Department spokesperson confirmed the pause covers all immigrant and non-immigrant visa categories, citing concerns with the government of Niger, but offering no further details. Diplomatic and official visas will still be processed, but an internal cable dated July 25 instructs U.S. consular officers worldwide to apply heightened scrutiny to all visa applicants from Niger. The cable points to high overstay rates, 8% for visitor visas and a staggering 27% for students and exchange visas as justification for the tougher stance. The embassy has notified all impacted individuals. The visa freeze comes amidst rising tensions as the U.S. military completed its withdrawal from Niger last September after the ruling junta ordered out nearly 1,000 American troops. It was a blow to U.S. influence in West Africa, where Niger had served as a key counter-terrorism partner before last year's coup. Meanwhile, the Trump administration continues to push hardline immigration policies. Officials have revoked thousands of visas, increased social media vetting, and are reportedly targeting student visa and green card holders over perceived support for Palestinians, labeling some as threats to U.S. foreign policy. Senator Marco Rubio, leading these efforts at the State Department, says the crackdown is about protecting national security.
And that concludes the news at 10 on NTA News 24. Thanks for watching. I am Tessie Omeri. Good morning.